That's 9-man rotation right there. That's solid.
Sure.
I like Minnesota.
I'm saying let's spin back to the Sixers.
I can
obviously
you can take me right.
Yeah, I just want to mention how Embiid's probably gonna be done with the MCL injury.
Which brings up to Joel Embiid.
Brings up to Joel Embiid.
Yeah, some of the best
basketball. He was playing his best basketball. Not arguably his best season of his career. Unfortunately, it was shut down with injuries, and me personally, I don't think he's going to be back this season. I think it's best for him to prioritize long-term health and do what you got to do for the rest of your prime, bro.
Especially at the trade deadline.
Especially at this trade deadline, I'm saying. We don't get into this, so all right. So
go cook, bro.
The Sixers traded Patrick Beverly to the Milwaukee Bucks for a campaign and a 2027 Milwaukee Bucks second-round pick.
True, are you
laughing? I don't know why you're laughing, bro. You know how Troy did,
bro. Just like
I'm gonna start it off like honestly, in the vacuum, it's not that bad of a trade. Like obviously, 2024, like we think of Patrick Beverly as this guard that can strap up any guard that you see, all this that. It's not that, but it's about the locker room presence and the veteran leadership that he brought to the team, especially fighting through these injuries that we've been fighting through this whole season. Leading the group of young guys, obviously, it hasn't been resulting into winning, but you don't trade pieces like that. He was made for Philly. Yeah. You see all the stuff he was doing with his podcast, Gillian Waddle, shout out $1 million worth of game, doing all those things with Barstool and all that. You don't go ahead and just trade him out the door, especially after going to the GM and telling him, yo, am I going to get traded? Am I in
he said
Daryl Morey is a liar.
But honestly, I wasn't really like it was a bad joke, but I wasn't really tripping on that.
Right.
What really cooked me was Mitch.
Whoa, before you do that, I got Buddy Hill. Let's do something positive. Let's talk about the good news. I got Buddy Hill.
Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz.
He's just coming to the city too. Marcus Morris, North Philly legend.
But what cooked you the most?
North Philly, like the key to this.
I can't talk about no positives without the negatives, bro. Because right before the 3 p.m. deadline, 2:55, I'm chilling. I get a notification. They said Sixers traded Jaden Springer, the Boston Celtics, for a 2024 second-round pick.
Right.
And honestly, if it would have happened any time during the season, I probably would have gone like, you know what, yo, Springer hasn't really got many minutes, you feel me, with the Sixers and everything. So, all right, cool. Send him to another team where he could maybe log some minutes, a rebuilding situation, the whole nine. You don't send arguably one of your best perimeter defenders to an Eastern Conference rival, the same Eastern Conference rival that you could have used that defense against last season. Especially for a second-round pick that I saw the standings, it's going to be the 41st pick of the season ended today.
Which he probably be the same age as Jaden Springer.
Jaden Springer is literally 21 right now. He's our age. Well,
he's younger than me.
Older than
I'm about to say he's younger than yo. And my whole thing was like, yo, now we have 3 open roster spots. We know one is most likely going to Kyle Lowry. But where does the other spots go to? Otherwise, vets that have been on the market all season or has been just drafting their teams because they've been corny all season. Let's just keep what's called spade to spade.
Oh, bring back 6-year legend Dan Young.
Man, you troll.
Darriel.
Come on, lame cook, bro. Lame cook, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
But in the vacuum, it wasn't that bad of a deadline. Like you said, we got Buddy Hill.
Right.
We'll make sure that when Joel Embiid comes back in the lineup next season, if they do retain Buddy Hill because it's on an expiring contract, could be a great fit around Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. So that's a good job for sure. But it was just it just left a bad taste in my mouth where it's like, why did you trade those 2 defensive guards to teams that you could potentially see down the road? Not saying this season, because me personally, this season to watch. You don't make those moves if you think that you can make a push this season. And honestly, bro, just let Joel Embiid sit. Let Tyrese Maxey get all the reps he can. Try and play as many young guys as you can. Call the season to watch. You're prioritizing cap space in the summer anyway. I'm not saying go miss the playoffs because they're 3.5 games out of the 7th seed. You can go in the first round, go make a little push just for the fans, stay engaged, everything. But when we talk about real championship pushes, you gotta hold your cards for next year. That's what they've been doing. And honestly, I was gonna go on a rant for Daryl Morey, but honestly, I think he's one of the most overrated executives in the league. I don't think he's really that good. I don't think he's creative at all. I think he really lacks creation. I think he's got lucky in a lot of his moves in his career. Traded for James Harden just for him to come up to one of the best offensive players. I know he had no clue that James Harden was going to be as good as he was. Traded for James Harden again in Philly. That was an utter disaster. For what we thought it was, flipping Ben Simmons was a good thing in itself. But what James Harden became into just wasn't good at all, if we're going to be honest. Then he traded him to the Clippers, wipes his hand clean, get a couple picks, get a couple players, Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, players that can at least shoot the rock around Joel Embiid. But now we see that those players are older. Those players deteriorated over the course of the season. Now, at this point, after the deadline, we're just left with 4 draft picks, with the Clippers arguably the first seed in the West. So the thing with that James Harden trade was it was always going to be to be determined. We always going to see, yo, what are you going to flip these draft picks into? He always said, yo, don't look at the roster until after the trade deadline. Well, shit, it's after the trade deadline. The roster looks really ass right now. And I'm not going to lie, going into the summer, you could say, oh, we can get a 3rd star. We got $60 million in cap space. First of all, Joel Embiid is the only player on the books next season. Now, it might sound like a good joke, like, yo, y'all got all the money in the world. This is not 2K. Tyrese Maxey is going to be up for a huge contract next season. Tobias Harris, Lord knows that Darriel Moore is going to bring him back. And it's like, you leak out that you're in pursuit of Paul George in the summer. The same Paul George that is playing with James Harden, the same player that you lied to. You lied to that you were going to give that money to James Harden. You're going to get that same money to Paul George. You know, James Harden just came from Philly. Why would he? Oh, you can go to Philly. That's a good job. Go over there. And then you're going to give that same money that you're going to give to James Harden to a player that's the same age, just playing a different position. And I know Paul George is a guy. I'm not going to cook him, but I think he's James Harden in the wing position. When it comes to performance variance and everything, he's 34 years old. He's not going to be the needle mover to a team that has Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid in the Eastern Conference. That's just my opinion. He's literally from California.
Right.
Like, Darriel Moore is such an overrated GM. Like, now it's really getting me worse than down. It's like, bro,
keep cooking.
You made a panic move for Russell Westbrook from CP when he got hurt. That just went up to shit. I'm just gonna call it straightforward. That just went up to shit. And then you saw the Rockets. You saw James Harden was gearing up to make a trade request. You then go leave 4 months later for a family issue just to go to Philly. You basically ran from the grind. You ran from cleaning up your own mess. And this year, you got an extension for cleaning up your own mess. So all in all, I'm just gonna say, bro, Darriel Moore, if you're watching this, you're an overrated executive. I'm not gonna lie. And I hope you don't waste the rest of Joel Embiid's prime because you're really robbing him of some great years, some great championship runs, and you gotta do better, bro. And I know this is all over the place, but I just had to get my shit off because I'm not gonna lie, I'm pissed. Because I was a really big fan of Jaden Springer. He literally locked Stephen Curry up the other night, and he locked Luka Doncic up. Stephen Curry literally had his first scoreless first half in like so long. Jaden Springer he started next to Tyrese Maxey. He was a great fit defensively. And then now a lot of people can say the offensive game isn't there yet. He's literally 21 years old. We have 2 open roster spots. Who are you getting with those roster spots right now that is a better player than Jaden Springer in the back end? Danny Green, I can run faster than him in the track. He can shoot, but what is that really doing when Joel Embiid's not in the lineup? It's not a needle mover if you're not going to make a championship run. Players like Danny Green and Kyle Lowry, those are good players that have in their rotation where you're trying to go all. Players that have been battle tested, not when you're fighting for the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. If anything, I would have rather go to the G League, feel me, look at a couple young players, let's see, like, yo, let's see if we can find a diamond in the rough, like what Boston is doing. Boston is out going, looking at young players like, yo, do you not liking them like that? Let's go bring them in so we can have them for cheap. So when we have to trade a Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, when the money gets too tight, now we got young players that can fit in defensively, young players that can play under Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, learning from arguably one of the best defensive guard rotations in the league. So it's like, all right, cool. If he doesn't develop in Boston, cool, that's a wash. But why would you trade him to a rival? You never trade your pieces to a rival, and you never trade for pieces from your rival. They should have learned that when they signed Al Horford. They should have learned that when they traded the pick to Boston for them to get Jason Tatum. We literally gave them Jason Tatum. Yeah. And like, I'm not trying to talk your head off, but it's like, oh, cool, bro. Like usually for these episodes, I just lightly talk about the Sixers, like, you know what I mean, we go by, but like, I don't give them the deserved criticism that they deserve. I'm just gonna call it like that. But it was a far from desirable deadline. I feel like I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they had a shitty deadline. They were both buyers, they were both sellers, they don't have a direction. I'm gonna just call it like that, bro. I'm not gonna call it like that.
We cooked a great meal up there, bro.
5-star.
To add what you said though, I do feel like it's gonna be poetic justice in 2 years or next year. If y'all ever play Boston and Springer is the one guarding Maxey, and he ended up locking them up. And that's the Sixers thing that happens.
And then the problem with that,
y'all gonna be the next Marcus Smart.
The problem with Jaden Springer on the Celtics Look who his mentors are now.
He got
Drew
mentored by-
Holiday and Derek White.
First, he got mentored by Pat Bev.
Pat Bev.
Now it's Drew
Drew Holiday
Holiday
and Derek White. Come on, bro. Like
They about to make him a monster.
bro. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Let's stay in Eastern Conference, man.
Celtics did make another trade. They traded for Xavier Tillman.
2 second round picks.
For 2 second round picks. I thought that was solid.
That was good. That was the center depth.
Solid.
I feel like because Al Horford's getting older in the age, Xavier Tillman, a young big man, 6'8", switchable, can shoot the ball, can rebound the ball well. Underrated move for them.
And on the flip side, the Grizzlies pretty much called it quits on their season too. Like they whole team out.
basically,
So,
yeah.
They traded David Riley, they traded Xavier Tillman, they let go some pieces. Steven Adams.
Y'all could have gave Tony Snell a contract. Just letting y'all know. I mean,
Could've.
You know what I mean?
No,
I mean,
So y'all can now.
Like, you know, he's so slick.
No, I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. Sixers up, they ain't playing.
They ain't crushing me, man. I'm still doing my thing. I'm still living, doing good. But
Right.
I just wish to see my team make a good run for once, bro.
Right.
But I feel like now, at least I know that we're not close to a championship. So I don't have to get my expectations.
Yeah.
My expectation now it's only up from here as far as like what I can get from my team.
Now, what you doing with Embiid requested trade this whole season? To them.
I'm like, yo, bro, where we going? Where are we going?
So you're gonna be like Russell Wilson.
I haven't made my decision yet because I still like Tyrese Maxey a lot.
Right.
I'm a big fan of Tyrese Maxey over the past couple of years, but it's up in the air.
Just estimate how much y'all think you gonna get?
Desmond Bain got
He's got
5 years, 216
plus.
He got to.
He's gonna be 200.
Desmond Bain got that.
Yes.
James got
That's
587.
my biggest critique about the overrated cap space plan opening up money because it's like, bro, most of that has to go to Tyrese Maxey anyway.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
And knowing Darriel Moore, he gonna get it. Why is that?
We're not gonna talk about that.